Well, now, China's ruling Communist Party is holding a key leadership meeting currently in Beijing. President Xi Jinping is expected to further cement his authority. The meeting will lay the groundwork for the 2022 Congress, where Xi will seek a third five-year term. Hundreds of top party officials, including state leaders, ministers and military chiefs, are all attending. Well, let's bring in Andy Mock in Beijing. He's a senior research fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. Andy, it seems that the really crucial part of this meeting centers around a resolution on the party's history that really consolidates Xi's power, as similar ones did for Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping. Does this then elevate Xi to their level within the CCP and potentially within China?
Well, thank you for having me, Nastasia. You're absolutely right that one of the key features of the Chinese system is a very close integration between philosophy, history, and politics, which is very different from the West, where philosophy and history are seen as very specialized topics that are somewhat removed from day-to-day life. But in China, this close integration is largely the reason for the success of the CPC. And what we're seeing now is this latest understanding of history, where since the founding of modern China in 1949, there have been 5 leaders. But the latest thinking and the political consensus is that we can understand this as 3 eras, as you touched on. Under Mao, China stood up. Under Deng, China became wealthy. And now under Xi, China is becoming strong. So you're absolutely correct that we can understand this as an elevation of Xi Jinping to a new historical role.
Andy, I'm also curious about the audience for this. I mean, these sorts of resolutions often herald some sort of shift in China, recalibration of power under the party. Like under Deng, it was about rewriting history, but I see Xi's resolution includes a declaration to the world. We've obviously seen Beijing become increasingly assertive with its foreign policy, especially with regards to Hong Kong, Taiwan. So who is this resolution actually meant for?
Well, I think this resolution is meant for several different audiences. First of all, the CPC itself. And we have to recognize that with more than 90 million members, the Communist Party of China's membership is larger than the total population of countries like Germany and Turkey. So running such an enormous organization, I think, takes vision as well as management aptitude. But this is also a message to China as well of where China's headed over the next 100 years. Of course, we just saw the 100th anniversary of the CPC. And finally, I think this is a message to the world, because we know that we are facing unprecedented global challenges that pose threats to the future of humanity. And what China's offering is a system that has been proven to work, but is based, again, on very, very different philosophical and political principles. And it's this integration between philosophy, history, and politics, I think, that makes it unique. And this, I think, is really focusing global attention on this new paradigm, this new way of governing that could lead to real breakthroughs for humanity.
Andy, as you mentioned, this does have consequences for people within China, too. I see there's a potential reference to people of all ethnic groups as being united under the leadership of the party. What does that mean for ethnic minorities like the Uyghurs and the Tibetans?
No, absolutely. So we need to be very clear here that China is not just the Han, but there are 56 separate officially recognized ethnic minorities. And building a harmonious society requires taking into account the interests of these different ethnic groups. And of course, there are different ways of understanding, looking at society. There's the working class, there are the capitalist class, etc. But this is one perspective, and taking into account their interests and aspirations is a very, very important part of this common prosperity drive that we're seeing under Xi Jinping.
Well, it's also been very controversial, the way that it's been approached by the CCP, but we'll have to leave it there. Andy Mock there in Beijing, a senior research fellow at the Center for China and Globalization. Great to get your thoughts and expertise. Thanks for joining us, Andy.